Just wanted to make a quick video regarding Aussie CAD this morning. Aussie CAD was presenting some good opportunity, and essentially what I was looking at was this sort of bit of price here. So what I was originally looking at was in terms of the weekly time frame. It's just in a downtrend. Going on to the daily, we had this previous point of low, we had the break, and then we had potentially this structure forming. So what was nice is we had this sort of retrace over here, but we couldn't commit, and then we started pulling back. If I just revolve the chart, it might get a little bit messy, but I'll just pull in the data. As we hit around about 3 o'clock yesterday, UK time, it basically created some more volatility. So it basically pushed price a little bit further than expected. However, that doesn't really change much because what we're currently looking at is pretty much the same thing. So if we now just create this as a larger flag, which makes a lot of sense, and I don't really need to see the upcoming news, the previous news now, but let's just say that we look at that as the point of sale, which is on the 1 hour. Oh, sorry, the daily. So on the daily, we just have this level of inflection point. It's not the highest of probability. However, it is a point which, kind of sprung out to myself from experience. And just looking at it now in hindsight, it would have definitely been a trade that I would have been entertained to want to take, only for the reason on the lower time frame we pushed up here a lot of orders during the news. As news spikes, it essentially just creates a lot of volatility in the market. So a lot of people would have entered the market here for a short, thinking that it would go up and come back in. But then what happened was it created a little bit of a correction and pushed up further, took out some stops, pushed down, and then pushed back up, creating this sort of double top at the top of this high. What we have now is a really nice little double top push away. And on the 1 hour, we actually have a nice ending candlestick pattern of a evening star. So what I do like about this is there was two ways it could have been taken. It could have been taken with a larger stop, which would have been around about 30, probably add a few more on that, probably about 35, 34, 37, could even be 40. Wouldn't be uncommon for myself. And then obviously the refinement, which obviously would be here. So essentially, I'll drill down to the 15 and evaluate. Yes, there was potentially a trade over here. However, it wasn't the cleanest of structures because how price kind of just, corrected further, it wouldn't have been the sort of price I would have wanted to really get entertained in. I mean, unfortunately, this trade was nice, but it just couldn't commit because what happened was we came into late hours of the evening and then we just moved into high spread hours and then corrected up further. So what would have been nice is if we had this and then we just sold and then we created some continuation down here. That would have been what I was looking for. But because we corrected further, it gave you an indication that we could be kind of creating this larger structure to push up potentially higher. We even come to this point here. So what happened was we corrected even further and essentially here we are. So we basically came into this point here, and as we push down from the second touch up here, taking out all of those orders, we basically pushed down and created this sort of structure in here. What I do like about this was there was a middle section to it as well, um, and this is the sort of two-touch flag sort of territory. Perhaps maybe the reduced risk entry would have been better as well, and I believe that would have eye-lined with the 1 hour close. Yep. Um, however, I do like this entry. It is a mistrade for myself, unfortunately. I would have probably taken this around about 10 pips there. And then I'd be running around about 3.5%. I would have probably locked in a bit aggressively at this point. Around about 2% ish, roughly around about 1.7 ish, roughly around about here. I would have locked in, and then I would have just potentially waited for something a little bit further now. So 15-minute flag to potentially form over here, could even be a bit bigger. And then eventually, when that flag is formed, perhaps maybe I could even take a reduced risk entry over here, for about 23 pips, and then get involved there. And then essentially, what I'll do is just wait for that to form. And then when that does form, I'll be tagged into my next trade, and then I can move that in and lock a little bit more, probably halfway, around about 2.5, and then see how that one plays out to this low. And then if we break that low, we might be in for a better run. And then if we do come in for the actual trade, what I do like is, and I'll just kind of just use this box as 7.25, um, and then there's potentially about 20% there. And then obviously, as price breaks below this point here, I'll definitely be looking for a flag in this zone, um, maybe a little bit larger, of course, and then over here, and then a larger flag over here, and then to that low, and I probably wouldn't take any more trades. So there probably would be about potentially four good trades on the table there. Would I catch all of them? Possibly, possibly not, depending on how structure forms. But yeah, so then there could be another one there with, let's say, around about 12 pips, which could bank me another 11%. And then another one which is roughly around about here. Let's just say that that one could potentially bank me around about, let's just say we use the largest stop, 25, 4, 7, 20, and 11. So that's terrible at maths now. I'm just kidding. So let's say that's around about 18 plus that's 38, and then around about wow, really about 40 odd percent. So that's all the way to the low, and obviously that could be a course of um, let's just use this and say it could be a course of 6 7 days a week. 50% in a week would be insane. Obviously, that's just saying if this was to play out. However, this is a pretty good position here in itself. I mean, um, we just have to be patient now and see how it plays out. This could form as a larger flag, and then if this forms as its own personal structure, going off the back of this push up, and then it goes with the higher time frame, and we are pushing towards this potential zone or even further. That's a different gameplay. However, at the moment, I really do like it. I think there's a lot of potential on the table for this particular pair. So definitely just got to stay patient, see how it plays out, and yeah, we'll reevaluate very soon.